Hi everyone, this is Craig. This is another mindfulness video. This is practice number 9 in a series of 10. So I'll, as I do, talk through 4 mindful practices in these videos and then finish with a guided meditation. So as a recap, mindfulness is being in the moment with our awareness, not judging the situation. And if we're doing that, we're being mindful. But it can take many forms. You can be mindful of pretty much anything. You're using your awareness to keep yourself in the moment. So we'll talk through another few ways of practicing mindfulness. And I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying doing them. So once these 10 are done with, I'm sure I'll be doing other videos on different topics on mindfulness as well as other things, perhaps. So we'll see. Keep tuned. So we'll start with this practice here, which is chop wood, carry water, which doesn't literally mean chopping wood and carrying water, although, feel free if you want to do those things. It's a metaphor for doing simple tasks, and this is a good practice to practice simple tasks mindfully. You're focusing on what you're doing, not thinking about the past or the future. You are present with your task. And it's really useful, this practice, to have a go at things, simple things, when we're feeling a bit down, a bit sort of, struggling a bit with things. At the moment, life in 2020, as many of us have experienced, has been a very big challenge for a lot of us. We're having to think about different things, different routines, different ways of working or living. And so a lot of this is generating more thoughts, more thought processes that are taking us away from the present moment. So when we're in situations like this, when we're in sort of crises and pandemics and things like that, we'll be in our head more. We have more susceptibility, I suppose, to become worried or to become anxious about things. We're seeing a lot of that suffering in the world through the news and media and things like that. So it's vitally important for us to keep our peace as well as we can, using simple practices like mindfully focusing on the simple tasks that you do every day. And that's what this chop wood carry water means. We might make a cup of tea every day, so we practice that mindfully. Sometimes our head is just filled with so much that it's impossible to sit and meditate for a period of time. We're just struggling with that. So we'll do simple tasks instead, and that's generating a similar mindful energy. That is what we need to build our resilience and our to get through basically what's going on. So you could mindfully make your tea. You could, even if you're using a kettle and boiling water from a kettle, you can switch on your kettle, fill the water, fill the kettle with water, put it on the thing, hit the switch, and while it's boiling, you could practice breathing perhaps, or you could listen to the sounds the kettle makes. You can focus on when it's boiled, the lifting up of the kettle, the pouring of the water in your mug, the dipping of a tea bag, if that's what you're doing, making it the color that you want. But you're focusing on that, adding sugar if you want to add sugar or milk. And then you drink your tea mindfully. You're trying not to think about anything else. You're trying not to distract yourself with the future or the past. You want to be present with your cup of tea. So that's mindful tea drinking, and you're feeling the heat from the mug, you're tasting your tea, you're immersed in that process, that simple task. Cleaning your teeth, same, you're focusing on cleaning your teeth, not thinking about other things, coming back to your teeth if you notice your mind is wandering. Mindful walking is a simple task and can be of huge benefit and huge pleasure. to feel the ground under you, to go for a mindful walk, like in the place pictured in this video behind me. Go for a nice woodland walk is wonderful. Feeling the ground, noticing the weather, noticing sounds, birds, etc., will keep you going, keep you focused in mindfulness. You find sometimes that there are days where we actually don't want to go out and we just want to stay in. Duvet days, as they're called in my locality. And you can do that mindfully as well. It's giving yourself permission to do that without worrying about having to do much or feeling lazy or whatever. It's none of those things. You're just needing self-care. This is all about self-care, compassion for ourselves. So you can have a duvet day, but you can again, feel that duvet around you, feel the warmth of the house you're in. Try and focus on what it is that you're doing. And you find everything does change after a while, including how we feel. And so if you're continually doing small tasks in a mindful way, you find your emotions will change. You may start the day feeling a bit bland or a bit bored or a bit fed up or whatever. But then if you just sink into the tasks of mindfulness, mindful tea, mindful cleaning of your teeth, mindful eating your cereal in the morning perhaps, mindfully walking from one room to the other, you'll find that your emotions will change and you might not feel the same as you did first thing in the morning. So when you're feeling a bit uncomfortable and a bit down, it's good to just focus on simple tasks and things will change for you in due time, all on their own. So it's important to try not to think too much about future or past or things that are bothering us. We need to ground ourselves. We need to reclaim our rightful place, being home with our bodies. That's what will give us peace. So that's that practice. Very simple. And it moves on to patience, which is the next practice on this sheet. So there's the word patience. And patience is really an antidote for anger. You find that when you're angry, you're impatient. You're wanting things to be fixed, or you're not wanting to be stuck somewhere, or we might be angry because we're stuck in our houses and not able to travel out and about. So there's an impatience. It's like something in life is stopping us from doing what we want to do, and that can make us frustrated, and it can make us irritable, and then it can lead to anger. So interestingly, the faster you live your life, the more you rush about doing this, doing that, thinking about this, thinking about that, the more likely you are to have more annoyance or impatience. You're practicing your impatience by rushing. It's actually good practice to slow, take your time, be in each moment, do the simple tasks, but be there with them. You're drinking your tea slowly and gently. You're cleaning your teeth slowly and gently. None of this rushing, thinking about the next thing. That's creating impatience. That's creating a disturbance in you. In fact, the faster and more you rush in life, and it seems to be getting faster, if anything, time seems to fly. And with technology and things like that, we've got things at our fingertips these days. We can send off for deliveries and they come almost the same day or the next day. There's no waiting. And we notice that if something doesn't come the following day, that we start getting a bit annoyed by it. It's like, well, normally things come. We get used to the speed. So it's actually quite good practice to unspeed yourself and take your time doing what's in front of you, one step at a time. That is practicing patience. You're trying to notice when you're bored or you're fed up or you are annoyed at something, and you try and sit with it. That's what patience is. It's not rushing to the next thing, or getting frustrated because you're frustrated, or judging our emotions or judging the situation. It's about being in that situation and accepting with curiosity what is going on. So, you know what? I'm annoyed. That's okay. We all get annoyed from time to time, but it's good to notice. This is what mindfulness is about, noticing. You notice your annoyance, and instead of distracting yourself from it or blaming something for it, you sit with your annoyance. You start cultivating this energy of patience. It's kind of like, well, okay, annoyance is here. I need to slow. I need to take my time. I need to sit. I need to be. I need to breathe. So, breathing in, annoyance, my old friend. Breathing out, calmness. What's this annoyance telling me? Get curious about things, because your curiosity is a really valuable tool. It can stop you taking things personally. You're more looking at things as an experiment in life. Annoyance is not there to get annoyed at. Annoyance is there to give you a signal that you're no longer mindful and you're up here somewhere judging or criticizing something. And it's curious to understand where that criticism comes from. And sometimes it doesn't come from what's actually going on. It's maybe triggered something that's been in our heads from a young age. So patience is a lovely practice, and we can practice it. When we sit and meditate, we're practicing patience, because we're not rushing. We're not wanting to just reach for the next thing to fill the gap. We're in the gap, we're sitting, we're noticing what goes on in the present moment, whether it's sounds outside or our breathing, or thoughts that are coming, or labels that are coming into our mind telling us it's boring to just sit or it's lazy to just sit. These are just labels. You just think, ah, yes, thank you, lazy thought, right, off you go. I'm sitting, I'm just sitting. That's all I'm doing. And when I'm sitting, I'm cultivating patience and calmness, and I'm quietening my mind, all of these things. And you find the more that you sit and the more patient you become, the less angry you are, the less annoyed you are, the less anxious you are, the more comfortable you are with life, the more resilient you are when things do stop you in life. If we're forced into lockdown because of a pandemic, we can sit here with our patience and smile and be okay, not be worrying about when it's going to end or judging the situation or wanting it to go away. We don't think about those things. We just are in our moments. And that's the power of mindfulness. When you're sitting, just being, just relaxing like that, just noticing. Sometimes it's not relaxing, to be fair. Sometimes there's uncomfortable feelings or emotions that are present, but we accept them all. We just say, oh, yes, feeling bored, okay. Feeling lazy, okay. Lazy is just a label, as I said, but we're feeling stuff. And if we can sit and be with our stuff, it'll change. Just as when you're cleaning your teeth, and you're doing your cups of tea, and if you're feeling grouchy in the morning, you might not be feeling grouchy in the afternoon. You might be feeling bored for a bit of time, but you sit and you tease that boredom, you be curious about it. It's like, interesting that I'm bored. That's an interesting feeling. What does it feel like in my body right now? Can I come back to myself? You find that the boredom shifts and changes and goes away on its own. So it's all about slowing, taking your time, being in each moment. That's what gives you patience. So it's a really good practice to try and cultivate it. And sometimes I get smiled at when I'm in waiting rooms or whatever, and I'm just trying to sit there in patience and I'm not getting flustered or worried about where's my appointment and etc. I'm just sitting. I actually quite enjoy waiting rooms and being stuck in places. It gives me a chance to practice my patience. So that's those practices. So I'll just scroll down to these other ones. Here we go. So the abundance triangle is the next one there. And so This interestingly, has been taken from a book on creative visualization by Shakti Gawain. It's a really nice little book. And this abundance triangle is part of that. So this is not my practice. I've kind of taken it from another book, but wanted to just voice that. But I find it interesting enough and mindful enough to put in here. So you could think that life there's three elements. There's being, doing, and having. That's what forms our abundance. If we do lots of things, we get lots of things. That's the doing and the having part of this. But often we forget about the being. You can think of people who are workaholics, perhaps, who do all the time, and they have all the time. But there's no happiness there. There's no joy. There's no wonder or experience of life. It's just must do, must do. It's like a hamster on a treadmill. You're just going round and round and round. So you're not truly what I would say abundant. You might have a lot of money because you're working hard, etc. But you might not be abundant, because abundance is about having a joy and a happiness in life. There's a good practice of being happy. We struggle as humans in modern society to be happy. Sometimes we don't actually want to be happy, or sometimes we distract ourselves from being happy, because the happiness comes from engaging in the present moment and being. And this is where the being is so important and vital for this abundance triangle. You take out the being, all you have is the doing. And yes, you get things and you achieve things, but do you really achieve your life? Do you really achieve that contentment, that peacefulness that we're always looking for? So what this is trying to remind us, this triangle, is to be as well. So if you start with being is knowing you're alive, knowing you're conscious. I know I'm breathing. I know I'm sitting. I'm mindfully drinking my tea. I get a lot of enjoyment from really tasting my tea or eating this slice of cake. If I'm thinking about my to-do list, I'm not really there with my cake or my tea, and it's not as abundant as it could be. When I'm just present, I realize how amazing my life is to get me to where I am, and I'm grateful for things. My gratitude improves because I'm seeing that I'm okay, and that life is this amazing voyage, this flow that has brought me here to you right now in front of the video. And 20 years ago, I wouldn't have thought I'd be doing this kind of thing. There wasn't even an internet. Things have changed, but the being is what counts. Without that, we could be lost up here in our heads, just doing and living with what our thoughts are telling us. There's no rest. There's no moment of relaxing or happiness or joy. So notice if there's no joy in your life. You might have lots of money, you might have lots of expensive items, but maybe you're not happy. And notice that when you attain something, that there's always something else to attain. There's always something else to think about. You're always in the future, thinking about this, thinking about that. I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when that happens. You can be happy right now. Just follow your breath. Just be in the moment. Feel the chair you're sitting on. Smile. Know that you are enough and everything is enough in this moment. It doesn't mean we don't have a goal or a plan, and that's what I'll come to with the next practice. But you're infusing everything you do with being. So you're getting more joy from everything that you do. And you're noticing when the doing is maybe too much, or maybe you are striving too much, or you're thinking about the future too much, or you're rushing, or you're becoming impatient because you want this thing so much, but you're not there yet. It's okay to be here because you are here. There is no difference. So be here, with acceptance, you can do your process and you'll get to this end goal. But you don't have to be thinking about it too hard or forcing it or striving to attain it. Be in the moment with your joy. That's what this is saying. And that moves on to this other one, intentions and purpose. And we do need a purpose in life. It keeps us going. It's nice to have a vision or a goal, whatever that is. Maybe you're learning new stuff to get somewhere, or, you're wanting to practice mindfulness perhaps to improve your well-being. That could be a goal. That's all well and good. I'm not saying don't have goals, don't ever think about the future. You can think about the future in the moment. You can plan your goals. You can write a to-do list in the moment, and you think, right, that's my goal, that's my vision. I put it on my notice board, and then, as I say, I'm now here, and I accept I'm here. It doesn't matter that I'm not there yet, but I have a vision that I could go there. But at the moment, I'm here, so I'm just going to chop wood and carry water. I'm going to be here doing these tasks in front of me, being in front of me. What has this moment got? What can I do in this moment that's of good intention and good purpose? So it's like you can make your huge goal come right down to the moment. And in this moment, what you do will influence your future and your future goals. But you don't have to think about them too hard. It's kind of like, I'm here. What's the best thing I can do now? What's the best intention that I can do now? And it's a really good interactive thing, this present moment, because you notice if you're doing something and it's not feeling right, or it's not quite the way you want it to go. And so you're like, okay, rather than just carrying on, maybe in an unconscious way, you're seeing clearly. It's like, what, this isn't feeling right. Maybe I need to try something different. It creates more spontaneity. It's kind of like, well, I'm in this moment. How am I feeling? What's the best course of action for me and for everybody else? Because this is all about compassion and kindness for everybody, including myself. So if I'm just doing stuff, like say I'm working, I'm not really enjoying it because there's no being there, and I'm not really aware of it, I'm just doing it to get the money, there's no happiness. But if you're looking in the moment and you're noticing that this is sapping your soul, this is not what you want to do in life, then it's taking that step. It's kind of being there and going, maybe this job isn't what I want to do. I'm not feeling it. I'm not joyful. In fact, I'm not even being. I'm just in my head thinking all the time. I need to come back to myself. Let me have a break. Let me be here and be curious about my feelings. Let me sit for a while and see if anything new emerges, because we don't actually know what the future's got for us. I had no idea when I left school that I was going to practice mindfulness and become a mindfulness practitioner. I went into IT. It's amazing how these things can kind of flow, but it's good to be back in the moment, just doing what you're doing now and noticing how it's making you feel. And your intentions are either based on love or they're based on fear. And what I mean by this is that if you're in a love intention, it means you're doing something for the greater good of yourself and for other people. And so, you might have an intention, for example, to help someone down the road from you who's maybe struggling. You're thinking, I'll go in there and I'll help. They need me to help move furniture, for example. So I'm going to go and give them a hand. And that's a selfless act, trying to help someone who maybe can't lift furniture or something, and you're helping them. That's a good love-based intention. Now, if you were doing it in order to get money out of the person, or you were doing it in order to show off, or you were doing it in order to receive lots of gratitude, then actually that intention needs to be looked at with curiosity, because is that intention actually from your own feeling of lack of worth or lack of um, confidence in yourself, perhaps? Are you doing something to impress someone? That's a fear intention. Or are you doing something out of your genuine, good, kind, compassionate heart? That's a love intention. So it's very useful to start noticing what it is we do and notice what motivates us to do it. Because if we're doing things from a fear mentality, then that is what our future will continue to be. It will be a fearful place. Whereas if we're starting in the moment to do things for good, for love, for helping, for compassion, for kindness, then our future will be filled with compassion and kindness, including for ourselves. It's a really interesting way to look at the world. So basically what I'm saying is, yes, have goals, go for it. You have to work on the process to get to your vision. That's all well and good, but take each step one at a time. Really focus on the process. Really focus on what it is that you need to do now in the kindest, compassionate way possible from your heart, and you'll get to your visions and they will be true to you because you'll be noticing the joy and the enthusiasm as you go towards them. But if you're not noticing joy and enthusiasm, then maybe that goal isn't your goal. Maybe it's someone else's goal, or maybe you're just stuck somewhere just doing what you've been doing because you're used to doing it. Maybe there's something else for you. This is all about a gentle exploration, and you can use mindfulness to do that. So that's the sheet, that's the practices. There's quite a lot in there. But again, it's about slowing, being in front of you, being in the moment, trying not to judge things, trying not to go into the future or the past, trying to stay with your body, noticing how it's feeling. You act accordingly from your awareness. Let go of the thoughts for a bit. Sometimes our thinking can take over and take us on places and directions that actually it's not for us and it's generating fear. So I hope that's been a useful discussion. And as always, I'll finish these videos with a meditation. So we'll do that right now. So I invite you to close your eyes. Just sit where you are in the chair, if you're on a chair. And I have my singing bowl here, so I shall strike that just to begin. And I'll guide you through. So here we go. So just begin by noticing your breath. So noticing your in-breath, noticing your out-breath. Feeling the air as you breathe in, feeling the air as you breathe out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. Noticing if your mind wanders away from your breathing. If it does, just noticing and then returning to your breath. Breathing in, you're aware of your breathing. Breathing out, you're aware of your body. And just taking this moment just to notice how you're feeling. Feel the chair that you're sitting on, the posture, how you're sitting in the chair. Notice the ground under your feet. And just tune into yourself, just notice any body sensations, any strong emotions. Just breathing with what's there in acceptance. As you breathe in, just smile to yourself, noticing how a smile feels. Just taking these moments just to be, just breathing. Breathing in, smiling. Breathing out, present moment. So just take a few more conscious breaths. And then just when you're ready, gently open your eyes, come back to your space. Okay, so thank you very much for watching and for meditating with me and listening to my discussion on these mindful practices. And you can download this sheet and keep for reference if you like. If you go to www.craig-gilbert.com, click on the video link on the front page, click on Mindful Practices 9, you'll be able to download this sheet for reference. So I hope it's been useful, and I'll speak to you again another time. Have a wonderful day, whatever's left of what you're doing. But remember to be. Take care. Bye bye.